Good morning, traders. I'm Emily Vani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Thursday, May 15th. Investors brace for a host of economic data today, along with some key earnings releases that will give clues on the overall state of the economy. Markets are coming off a fairly muted session yesterday that ended mixed. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 both closed in the green. The NASDAQ gained 136 points, or about 0.75%. The S&P 500 added just 6 points, or 0.1%. The Dow ended lower, down 89 points, or just about 0.25%. Bill, let's get into Thursday's action with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're down 0.44%. Not significant, not major. There could be more weakness ahead, though I am cautious on that. We do have a number of economic reports coming out today. There's a big slate of them coming out this morning. Plus, Powell's talking. President Trump, he's in Abu Dhabi today. Apparently, he's going to be discussing, United Arab Emirates needs for AI and their AI ambitions. So we could see an announcement with, maybe NVIDIA or another chip company today with the United Arab Emirates. Yesterday, he did express, I would say, cautious optimism about a nuclear deal with Iran. And that's causing oil prices to slide this morning. It is. Russia, Ukraine, the peace talks are scheduled for today in Turkey. Putin bowed out. Zelensky's not attending. Trump's not attending. Putin's sending low-level guys. Yeah, nothing's going to happen. The odds of a breakthrough are very low. Let's talk about some corporate news. Let's talk about Dick's Sporting Goods, ticker DKS. They're going to be buying Foot Locker, FL. Department of Justice, probe into the Medicare billing practices of United Healthcare. It's causing the stock to move a little lower, but that story's been around since last summer. It's just getting attention because they're rerunning it. So I'm not too sure that this is this is one that they can't come back from. Cisco, Walmart, NICE, they're all trading higher after earnings beats. DE, I saw, DE is up. I saw it indicated higher. Now it is higher. So that's all positive. And then, after the bell today, you got CAVA, you got AMAT, you got TTWO. So, a couple of good earnings coming out after the bell. And then we're turning our attention over to Europe. The DAX is lower. It just fell down. It's down 0.06%. It was down much more. It came back, it turned green, and now it is lower again. And it's really lower over the status of global trade, the series of disappointing corporate announcements. I mean, the euphoria over the U.S.-China, tariff reduction, that induced rally is really starting to fade now. But the FTSE's gained, it's up 0.23%. It was lower this morning, but it's come back. The UK's GDP came in stronger than expected. I mean, granted, that is going to reduce the likelihood of the BOE pursuing aggressive monetary policy action, but, the GDP's higher. The GDP's higher, and the market's rallying off of it. The CAC in Paris down 0.21%. Weakness in energy, weakness in luxury stocks. That's really the factor there. Turning over to Asia last night, and we did see some, we did see some, lower action. I mean, the Nikkei fell about 1%, 0.98%, with weakness in autos, banks, and electronics. Hong Kong, had that big rally yesterday, gave it back a little, down 0.79%, with weakness in consumer stocks, property stocks, and tech sector. China, the Shanghai fell 0.68%. Now, their April credit data showed that new bank loans in China fell more than expected, signaling like a weaker credit demand, which is not good. And, tech stocks did move a little lower. You want to call it profit taking, you want to call it, do the credit, either one. The fact remains Shanghai fell 0.68% last night. Now we're turning our attention over to oil, because oil is the story. Oil is down like 3% this morning. WTI is trading at $61.17 a barrel, down 3.14%. Brent is trading $64.11 a barrel, down 3%. What can I say? It's primarily being driven by the growing optimism over a potential U.S.-Iran nuclear deal, which could lead to the lifting of sanctions. if they're lifting sanctions, there's going to be more oil out there, making it much harder for oil to stay above the $60 level. I mean, then you had the EIA stockpiles data, which showed a build of 3.5 million barrels. That's bearish for oil prices when they start building inventories. So yeah, the EIA data was negative. That's for sure. But that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update report, Emily.
Bill, you did mention that there are a slew of economic reports due out today. In just a moment, we're going to get to the full rundown on that because there is certainly a lot to be watching there. When it comes to earnings, a lot of action there as well, some key earnings, and you did give us a preview of some to look ahead through too. So let's start with earnings. Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings action?
You got to start with CoreWeave, ticker CRWV, Charlie, Richard, William, Victor. I mean, this is a hot IPO. This one had everything going for it. But, they came out with their earnings and they missed by 82 cents. So they did do it on higher revenue, but it wasn't that great of a report. I mean, stock's down 4.68% this morning. So, yeah, that didn't live up. It's not living up to the hype. Cisco, on the other hand, ticker CSCO, they beat by 5 cents and they did it on higher revenue. There's a lot of positive talk on Cisco this morning. Cisco shares are trading higher by 2.5%. Walmart, ticker WMT, they beat this morning. They beat by 3 cents and they did it on higher revenue. Stocks trading higher by 0.5%. Alibaba, ticker BABA, boy apple, they missed by 3 cents and they did it on lower revenue. Stocks down 5.27%. Deere & Company, ticker DE, David Edward, they beat by $1 on higher revenue. John Deere's trading higher by 0.73% this morning. Not surprised that they beat because everybody was buying their machinery before the tariffs went in April 1. So not surprised that Deere got some momentum due to that. But that's what we had for earnings last night and this morning. This afternoon, you got AMAT, Apple Michael, Apple Tom. That's Applied Materials. Their EPS is $2.31. Expected move is 5.54%. You also got Take-Two, TTWO, Tom, William, Oscar. EPS is $1.08. Expected move is 6.03%. That's what I have for you for upcoming earnings, Emily.
Bill, it goes without saying that, when it comes to the economy and keeping track of economic data, we've been in a sticky situation in terms of inflation for some time. Then you add all of this tariff talks and trade developments on top of that. And really today, investors are going to be looking for a number of clues to really gauge the health of the economy, see what is going on since we're managing, the Fed, inflation, the national economy, and of course the global economy. And I'm stalling just a few minutes here so Bill, you can look at your list and take a deep breath and give us a rundown of all the economic events for today.
Okay, listen, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, hot time. We got jobless claims coming out. You got the PPI, final demand for April. You got retail sales. That's a big one. You get Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. You got the Empire State Manufacturing Index. Then at 9:15, you get industrial production. And let's face it, 8:40 a.m. There's a speech going on by Jerome Powell. At 2:05 p.m., Fed Governor Michael Barr will be speaking. You look at those jobless claims, they're expected to come in around 226,000. The 4-week moving average is 227,000. So yeah, it's still labor's really holding up. Producer prices for April, they're expected to come in at approximately 0.3%, following a 0.4% decline last month. But then you also have to keep an eye on those retail sales for April, and now it could show a real significant slowdown. That's what's being expected. With the March sales rose by 1.4%. Let me put it out there. April sales are expected to slow down sharply to about 0.1%. So you had that big bounce in March, followed by a lot of weakness in April. So that month-over-month number is going to likely be very weak, and the market's going to be they'll cheer if it comes in stronger than 0.1%. I will tell you, it's just waiting to see what happens. Powell, he's speaking tomorrow. He's speaking today. It's a framework review. He's not really going to be speaking on monetary policy so much, but he might be adding some tidbits, a little seasoning as to what to expect. But that's what we have for you in terms of economic updates, Emily.
Bill, that's a lot of information to keep track of. So you're keeping track of all that you mentioned in the opening. Of course, earnings action, and then all of those economic reports and the Fed speak, including those comments from Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. And you're keeping track of this all using NewsWare. This way, you're able to bucket the information, see it as it hits the tape, so you can gather it quickly and make smart moves on the trading day. All of that still isn't the only information that you're watching. You're also watching things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings, buyback news. You look at your stocks grouped together in your NewsWare, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Just doing a quick data check. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I got 12 higher, 18 lower. Okay, I mean the real weakness is coming from United Healthcare. The real strength is coming from Cisco with that earnings beat. In terms of the FANG stocks, they're all trading lower. Okay, I'm not too worried about it. They have been having some nice gains. Like one of the things that's hurting Apple this morning is Trump was out there saying he does not want Apple to build products in India. Okay, he doesn't want them to build products in China really either. He wants them to build products in the U.S., which is very expensive. But Trump says what he says. He doesn't really think about the business aspects as to why a company might not want to do that. Meta's in the news. Senators are reintroducing Kids Online Safety Act. Meta's really the focus of this act. They're going after them. Netflix, ticker NFLX, they reported 94 million global monthly active users on its ad tier. Interesting. Dow Jones 30 stocks. Let's talk United Healthcare for a second. You're under a DOJ probe for possible criminal fraud at Medicare billing. This story's been out since last summer. Not new news, but it's really hitting the tape hard today. Merck, ticker MRK, they're getting FDA approval for a tumor treatment drug they have. Hey, JP Morgan's got to be on watch. I mean, it stock's down a little bit today, but on Monday they have an investors day, and they could have some news on Jamie Dimon's, retirement. And that retirement is going to cause that stock to weaken. I mean, what's Jamie Dimon as CEO worth to a company? It's worth at least 20 points. So I see weakness ahead in JP Morgan. Merger news, Foot Locker. Listen, at Dick's Sporting Goods, $24 a share, or you can get you convert. Then if you don't want to take the $24 a share, you can get stock in Dick's DKS. Wow, that's a big buy. That's a big move for Foot Locker shareholders. In terms of guidance news, Boot Barn, ticker BOOT, full year 2026 EPS. They're going for $5.50 to $6.40. Street estimate $6.39. Ooh, that's a little lofty. Cisco sees Q4 adjusted EPS 96 cents to 98 cents. Street estimate has it at 95 cents. Uptick. Walmart sees Q2 net sales up 3.5 to up 4.5%. Nice. Shareholders meetings today. CVS has one at 8 a.m. Morgan Stanley has one at 8 a.m. BlackRock has one at 8 a.m. And Yum Brands has a shareholders meeting today at 10 a.m. In terms of buyback news, Boot Barn, ticker BOOT, they announced a 200 million share buyback. PAG, Paul Apple Grace, that's Penske Automotive Group. They announced a 250 million share buyback. NICE Systems, ticker NICE, they announced a 500 million share repurchasing program. Nice. That's what I have for you in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what is your pick of the day today?
CAVA Group, ticker CAVA, Charlie Apple, Victor Apple. Listen, earnings are out after the bell. EPS is 14 cents. Expected move is 9.77%. Look at yesterday's call volume. 19,495. Put volume, 8,913. That's a put call ratio of 0.46. That's positive, very positive. Open interest, 97,790 to 71,660. Again, positive. And the major brokers, I see some price targets, being lower, but they're turning positive on the stock. I mean, they're not scared of it. CAVA is expanding. They are putting out more stores out there. So, and their pricier meals are still being eaten up. So yeah, CAVA is very interesting, but you got to get in at the right price. The right price for me, 98.60 to 99 is kind of what I'm looking at. It was trading there in that range, just a bit ago. It's since upticked a little bit. But if I can, 99 right now, it's trading 99 on the bid. So 98.60 to 99 is kind of my sweet spot is what I'm looking for. And that's my pick of the day, CAVA Group, ticker CAVA on an earnings play.
CAVA Group, it is today another earnings play, a playbook that you've used a number of times throughout this month that has been working out. And in just a moment, we will do a recap on yesterday's pick of the day, which was also an earnings play. And we did hear you mention that stock during your NewsWare alerts. But first, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our hot off the press segment. Bill, sending it back to you.
Okay, Walmart warns of higher prices with whole second quarter profit guidance. Interesting. Listen, JP Morgan investors are going to be looking for clarity on the tariff impacts and the succession plan when they have that investors day on Monday. Elon Musk took leased cars back so Tesla could use them as robo-taxis. Instead, Tesla sold them. Ooh. Walmart said they raised prices because of tariffs. E&B, Enbridge to sell stake in Western Canadian pipeline to Indonesian group. Here's a story. America just imported mountains of gold. Amazon's dropping about 100 positions in device and service unit. BHVN, Boy Henry, Victor Nancy, FDA extends their PDUFA date for Biohaven's new drug application. Paramount Executives tries to settle lawsuit merger. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we get to Thursday trading, let's do that check-in on yesterday's pick of the day was NICE Systems. You did tell us about that buyback program during your earnings alerts breakdown. They did report earnings this morning. They reported a Q1 EPS of $2.87. That was 3 cents better than the analyst estimate of $2.84. Revenue for the quarter came in at $700.2 million, and that was ahead of consensus estimates of $699.87 million. They did back their full year EPS view and their full year revenue view. And overall, the stock had a pretty good day yesterday. It has been up today. So, Bill, how did your call work out?
Nice. Worked out nice. It really did. I mean, you just got to look at the numbers to realize how good this trade was yesterday. I mean, the fact of the matter is, I was thinking for an entry point of like 168. Oh, stock opened up at 167.24. I mean, that was well below my entry price. And then it ran. It hit a high of $170.70. It closed at around 169 something. But this morning, after the earnings announcement, it hit 175.16. I mean, if you got in at 167 or under 168, there's no way you couldn't have made at least 1% on this trade. So yeah, NICE Systems was a winner yesterday. NICE, winner, winner, winner.
NICE was certainly a nice win there, Bill, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's CAVA Group pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow to end your trading week with NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.